to the live announcement of this year's U.S. SheEO Venture Cohort. My name is Nalini Saxena, and I will be your host for today. I am a SheEO Activator. I'm based in New York City. I'm a small business owner, and I'm really excited to get this announcement going. But as always, with all of our SheEO meetings, we begin with a land acknowledgement. Today, we're really happy to have Cindy Gross here to do that. So I will pass it to Cindy.
Thank you, and thanks for inviting me. Thank you everyone for taking part in the land acknowledgement today. And for anyone who's unfamiliar with the practice, it is very important to learn why we do this and then turn around and incorporate it into your own communities. You can use a land map such as native-land.ca to find out what land you occupy. And if you live anywhere in the Americas and much of the rest of the world, you do occupy land that has been colonized by someone else at some point. So visit the nation's sites of the land that you live on and get their thoughts on how to do land acknowledgement, because different nations differ in how they want this acknowledgement to happen. And this is how we help each other thrive. I am Cindy Gross. I live in Issaquah, Washington, outside Seattle in the United States. I live on the stolen lands of the Duwamish and the Coast Salish. I still benefit from institutions, including governments and schools, built on land stolen from Indigenous folks, built with the labor of Black people ripped from their own Indigenous homelands. I am a descendant of both colonizers and those they tried to destroy, are still trying to destroy. The Lenape, now known as the Delaware, who greeted tired, starving travelers on America's East Coast and welcomed them to this continent, are my ancestors. Our society still suffers from the suppression of the matrilineal cultures of so many Indigenous tribes, and we will grow and thrive when we reclaim more of those community-focused traits we've coded as too feminine and therefore not valuable. Reclaiming, celebrating, and uplifting those feminized traits is a place that SheEO shines, and where the women-led ventures funded today inherently offer healing and new paths forward. I am descended from Lenape peoples, and I am a citizen of 2 Native nations. I know my legally defined blood quantum, but that doesn't tell me which parts of my DNA are typically found in specific Native populations. My citizenship doesn't confer automatic cultural connections. Actually, I have few of those. I know little beyond my grandma's grandpa was a member of the Delaware tribe. It's a complex situation. Citizenship, DNA, lineage, and cultural connection are all distinct and inappropriately mixed ways to talk about who is Native. The terms Native, Indigenous, Indian are all problematic. If you know someone or are talking about someone who identifies as Native, use their terminology, and where possible, use their specific Native affiliation. Remember, Native people are still here, still suffering from a systemic oppression, and still loving, laughing, and thriving. Choose to honor them, don't appropriate from them. Live by the idea of inspired natives, not inspired by natives. Research when and where it's appropriate for someone not a citizen of a given Native nation or tribe to use, buy, or wear Native items and imagery. My earrings, for example, are made by a Lakota artist and sold to support an Indian school. Honor the people behind the items and images you do use. Support Native-owned and Native-led businesses, community groups, and organizations such as the Navajo Water Project, which is so important during this time of COVID. Thank you for pausing to see and listen to the Native folks around us.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you for grounding us. That was beautiful. Thank you. So let me share with you why we are so excited to be here today. We're excited because over the last 5 months, we received hundreds of applications. Activators participated in 2 rounds of voting, and this past weekend, the ventures participated in a venture retreat, and today we all get to meet them. So our agenda today is, first, we will hear from Vicki Saunders, our fearless leader. We will then be announcing this year's ventures, and we will hear how they are working on the world's to-do list. For any of you who may be interested in closed captioning, we have Otter AI. If you click on otter.ai broadcast on the top left button of your screen, you'll be able to access that. And we would love if you would share on social the announcement using the hashtag radical generosity and tag at SheEO_world. We always benefit from social announcements and social posts, so we hope that you do that. So with that, I will turn it over to Vicki Saunders, our founder, our leader, the woman who makes a clarion call for all of us to make a fantastically, radically generous difference. Vicki, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you, Nalini. Hi, everyone. So excited to have 118 of you here today. This is a really big day for us. And for those who are guests, I just wanted to let you know that the way selection works at SheEO is it's a 100% democratic process. Everyone who's contributed capital into the fund in the US gets a vote. We call these people who contribute capital activators. I'm totally shaking. I'm like so excited about today. And so the way that it works is we trust the collective intelligence of all of these activators to vote. And we, instead of having 5 experts on a panel who are supposed to know everything about how to choose winners, because we don't think anyone knows how to do that, we come with a very, very different approach. And there's lots of data to show that the collective intelligence actually returns better results than an expert group. So what you're going to see today in the ventures that have been selected is this is all of our activators are deciding who they're most excited about and who they want to get behind. This is a really historic announcement for us. And I knew I wouldn't be able to do it myself. And so I've asked Kai Fraser, one of our US ventures, to make the announcement today. So Kai, over to you.
Thank you so much, Vicki. It's an honor to not only be a SheEO venture, but also to welcome these phenomenal new ventures into our growing community. So, and now introducing SheEO's newest US ventures. First up, we have Celisa Berrien and Coi Energy. Coi Energy management platform detects and prevents and eliminates energy waste in buildings to improve efficiency while providing marginalized communities with equitable access to clean energy solutions. Next, we have Terry Nichelle Bradley and Brown Toy Box. Brown Toy Box is a children's educational products company that centers and celebrates Black children to expand ideas of the possibilities for their lives. Next, we have Winona Satcher and Maker Studio. Maker Studio is a green manufacturing and design build firm that specializes in unique modular shipping container real estate. Coming up next, we have Sonia Ebron and Deborah Sloan with Courtroom 5. Courtroom 5 is an automated legal toolbox for people in court without a lawyer. And last but certainly not least, we have Ariel Lauren Palmer with 100K Incubator. 100K Incubator is the first business funding app for women in Apple and Google's app stores. Let's welcome our new SheEO ventures. And if everybody could please unmute yourself and join me in giving these women a huge round of applause. Congrats, ladies.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Wow, thank you so much, Kai. And we're so excited. A big, big congratulations to
Nalini, you're on mute.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you so much, Kai. We're so excited to congratulate these ventures. And also now we're going to get a chance to hear from each venture about their business and any asks that they may have. That will give you a chance to ask any questions you have of them. So activators, don't forget to head to the Ask Give app to respond to the venture's asks. And guests, we ask you that you please use the chat. And after each venture presents, we'll also launch a quick Zoom poll where you can share if you can find a way to support the venture. So we ask that you get to the Ask Give app. I'm holding it up here for you to see on your phone, on your desktop, whatever it is that is easiest for you. And first up, we're going to hear from Celisa Berrien, the founder of Coi Energy.
Thank you. I am so delighted and I'm honored and I'm so humble. This is such amazing news, especially when you spend a whole lot of time, putting your time, energy, and thoughts into your business really to try to make a difference. And sometimes you think people don't really hear you. So I thank you, SheEO, for hearing us and seeing us. So Coi Energy is a digital energy management platform that detects, prevents, and eliminates energy waste in buildings to optimize the electric grid and create a climate-friendly economy for future generations to live, work, play, and thrive. And then basically how we do that, we have a three-year goal of eliminating energy waste in buildings by at least 25% on our peer-to-peer platform, provide equitable access to clean energy by directing 10% of every business's savings on our platform to marginalized communities. So basically gifting clean energy solutions to underserved and marginalized communities, and partnering with the NGOs that really have the feet on the ground in those communities to ensure that at minimum 1,500 homes in the next 3 years will have clean energy access. And one of our additional goals is to help utilities and grid operators avoid the use of peaker power plants by utilizing flexible energy capacity in buildings. We want to avoid what just happened in Texas, and our platform is a solution to what Texas just experienced. And then last but not least, we want to reduce the carbon footprint by 14 million metric tons of carbon in the next 3 years. And so how we plan to do that, we are working with grid operators, utilities, and businesses to eliminate energy waste on both sides of the equation. This includes us working with our strategic partners like SAP, CPS, NJII, and all the utilities that we have partnered with to bring these solutions to their business customers. So my ask is, I'd like to have at least 3 to 5 community members to help me think about the best way to execute on this major contract we just won in New York. It's a huge contract and we're looking at delivering on that in the next few weeks. So I'm looking to have some of our lady activators to help me with just strategizing on the best way to achieve that goal. And then another ask I have is we'd like to launch our first ad campaign. We haven't done any ad campaigns yet at Coi Energy, so I'd like to get some assistance with that in order to motivate businesses to help keep the lights on in New York and across the nation. And then last but not least, I need some help with identifying amazing salespeople and looking to hire specifically in the New York market or anywhere in the Northeast. Thank you again, SheEO, the activators, Vicky, the whole entire team. You guys have been super amazing. And Coi Energy, my team, I want to thank them as well. Like my employees are on this call, and it's because of them that we have been able to arrive at this place. And so it's sometimes people thinks it looks easy and it's easy, but it's not. It's been a lot of work, and I thank my team for putting in the time and the effort, the thought leadership to get us to this level. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Salisa, and a big congratulations to you. Thank you for giving us your asks as well. Before we get to those, we want to ask you some questions. So I invite everyone who is present, if you have questions for Salisa, if you want to know more about her business, how she got to where she is and what she's doing next, please enter your questions into the chat so we can ask her while we have her right here live, ready to go. So great. Question from MJ. Where in New York do you need help?
Specifically in the three of the 5 boroughs. So in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and the Bronx.
Okay.
And I'm looking at bringing businesses on our platform. So we're targeting certain verticals. So manufacturing, healthcare, data centers, and grocery stores / cold storage.
Great. Thank you for being so specific. And I want to echo what Vicky had said in the chat. We love that you have so many asks. We are here for you. We are radically generous and here for you. Vicky has also written into the chat, which I will read for people. If anyone wants to help Salisa with how to reach her audience, please put your name in the chat or in the app. And just to help you out with the app for just a moment, if you have the app open on your phone, you can just type into the search bar COI Energy, and I just did this, and you see both of her asks popping up right there. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we're going to launch a quick Zoom poll. Let us know if you want to support COI Energy. Can you support COI Energy, meaning Salisa, with her ask or one of her asks? Or do you have other connections, ideas, or suggestions? We ask that you click into the Zoom poll. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So great to hear from you, Salisa, as Renee says. Yes, thank you so much. We want to thank you, Salisa. Thank you so much for sharing with us what COI Energy does. I'm sure we'll all be following you. All your details are in the chat, so we can follow you on social, go to your LinkedIn, go to check out your website and find new ways to support you, and obviously also with the Ask Give app. Okay, great. So now we are going to introduce Terry Nichelle Bradley, who is the founder of Brown Toy Box. Terry Nichelle.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here this morning with all of you guys. So Brown Toy Box is an educational toy company that centers and celebrates Black children through STEAM education, purposeful play, and cultural representation. We are working to normalize Black excellence through play because, as Mr. Rogers once famously said, play is the work of childhood. We're building Brown Toy Box to compete in the $27 billion US toy industry, of which Black children remain virtually unrepresented and erased. We know if we get this right, we will expand children's idea of the possibilities for their lives, and we will disrupt generational poverty while preparing Black children for the future of work. Our revenue comes from corporate partnerships like Cox Media, MailChimp, Perkins & Will, our direct-to-consumer, and soon retail. In 2020 alone, we impacted over 5,000 students throughout the country with support from corporate partners helping to get our STEAM kits to the classrooms in primarily Black schools in high poverty communities facing a widening achievement gap exacerbated by COVID-19. Our goal for 2021 is to be in 100 school districts across the country. With our direct-to-consumer business, parents can easily just go online and purchase a STEAM kit or a toy. And now we are truly excited to share that in October, children throughout the country will be able to see Black children positively represented in the toy aisle because Brown Toy Box will be on the shelves of every single Target store nationwide. Thanks to your generosity and support, we will be able to manufacture the SKUs that Target will sell in store. So my ask, as I'm sure you know, getting the product made is only the first step. We'll need additional capital to successfully deliver on this game-changing opportunity for us, for Target in-store and for Target.com. Then, as we get closer to the fall, we need help with building awareness, anticipation, and ultimately customers. If any of you have any expertise in putting together holistic, consumer-focused marketing campaigns, content strategy, influencer marketing, and implementing all of that, please call me. So really just wanted to thank you all again. I can't wait to get to know as many of you as possible. Just wanted to share with you all that, this morning I was really flustered, and I usually wear 2 bracelets with motivational inscriptions that when I touch them are kind of gentle reminders that center me. But I was so excited this morning, I forgot to put them on. The first one says, "She believed she could, so she did." Now the other one has an expletive in it, so I don't know if there's any children on, so I won't say that, but when we get some one-on-one time, I'll share what the other one says. But I share that with you today because although I forgot my bracelets today, as I just take all of this in, this moment, this opportunity, all you badass women, I am just, you all are just kind of serving as that same centering reminder to me that my bracelets always do. So a friend of mine always says, support is a verb. And I just want to remind you all that your support is truly going to be foundational in helping us to create the next generation of Black doers, thinkers, and achievers. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Terry and Michelle. We're so excited for Brown Toy Box, and allow us in the sisterhood here today to be your two bracelets. We're going to take some questions from the chat. I see one question that popped up a little earlier from Susan. I believe it's Dalhoff. Where has your funding come from to date, Terry and Michelle?
I think we may have lost Terry.
Did we lose Terry?
Yes.
Okay. While we're trying to reconnect with Terry, I encourage everyone, if you can get into the app, again, it's a web-based app, but you can get it onto your phone. And if you can search at the top, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back. If you can search at the top and you can type in Brown Toy Box, you'll be able to see Terry Michelle's asks. And so while we're waiting for her to reconnect, we're going to launch the Zoom poll. So here's the question. Would you like to support Brown Toy Box? So let us know, can you support with one of her asks, or do you have other connections, ideas, or suggestions for Terry? And great note from MJ Ryan. If you're not able to make the app work, please place your gives into the chat and we can take them from there. And I see that Terry is back. So now that Terry is back, let's just turn to her and we can ask the questions of Terry. Hey, Terry.
Hi. Of course, my video was cut out.
So first question, where has your funding come from to date?
Primarily, like I said, corporate partners who fund getting the boxes into schools and the toys into different schools, but then also direct to consumer.
Great. And how did you find those corporate partners?
I have a pretty robust network. I've got a pretty robust network, and then I've got some amazing advisors on my advisory board that also help with that. It's just kind of been a word of mouth thing, and we've just had so many Atlanta-based companies primarily that have been really focused on changing. They know that if they are mission aligned with us, right? So they understand that if we expose children early and give them recurring exposure to STEM careers, that will then change the trajectory and disrupt the generational poverty that these kids are finding themselves in, and really make the workforce look more reflective of what the country looks like.
Fantastic. So are you based in Atlanta? That was one of the questions.
I'm based in Atlanta. We work nationally and we work with schools nationally, but I am based in Atlanta.
Great. And I'm going to do one more question for you from Melanie Love. Are there some collaborative competition opportunities with KiwiCo? KiwiCo is amazing. I would be happy to partner, do some things with them. But yeah, we do all kind of really fun, unique partnerships all the time. We're about to do one with Microsoft. So we're all about collaboration. And that's really something that I think the STEAM community has been pretty good about, is finding ways to collaborate to kind of plug that whole leaky pipeline that people talk about. Okay. And I want to give a shout out to Heidi Solomon Orlick, who said, I'm interested in exploring further investment in the company. So Terry, you have some homework.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Great. Fantastic. So many possibilities. Yes. Okay. So just a reminder, please take a look at the Ask Give app and see if you can respond to some of Terry's asks. So thank you very much, Terry. And now we're going to introduce Winona Satcher of Makers Studio. Winona, over to you.
Hey, everybody. So excited. Hello. Winona Satcher, Maker Studio. So Maker Studio, we creatively reuse through our design, build, and green manufacturing strategies. We creatively reuse materials and shipping containers as equitable and sustainable approaches to construction and real estate development that do not extract nor exploit natural resources and people. How do we do that? And so we customize creatively shipping containers into affordable real estate, so affordable housing, community spaces and civic spaces, breast cancer clinics, if you will. The whole point is not to empower people, but to inspire people to empower themselves. And so we seek to do that through hiring local tradesmen and women who we can help them build the change that they want to see. We are based in Atlanta, Georgia as well. Oh, and we are aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, 9, 11, and also 12, but specifically 9 and 11 for those that are interested in how we align with those goals. I have two specific funding, two asks. The first one is to help us solve an 86% funding gap that we need. So with the generous funding that we are getting from SheEO, that allows us to ramp up production by acquiring a local manufacturing micro factory to build our what we call plug-in pods, our shipping container units. We project in a couple of years to be able to build, instead of one container a year, 300 units in a couple of years. It's probably about 10 units, 10 pods, 8 to 10 pods a month, so that we can start to help solve this global housing crisis. Part of our strategy that this funding gap will help will allow us to purchase the necessary equipment that we need to upfit our manufacturing facility, including forklifts, tools, casters, as well as OSHA requirements that we need to make sure that we are efficient and sustainable in how we operate. It also allows us to hire a consultant to help us with the manufacturing processes. So we are builders, we are designers for social impact, but it's the process that we are excited to begin with generous help from the activator community to help us ramp up production to get moving this year. So our funding gap is critical in that to help us fill. So any activators, I'd love to talk to you about how you can help us to do that. My second and third ask actually are also from the activator community to help us with any pro bono services for content marketing, so we can continue our outreach, as well as help with pro bono legal services. So as we expand and grow and scale and ramp up production, we can get that operational organizational help that we need. I will say that through all of this amazing funding and support and coaching through SheEO and SheEO community, it would help us reach our 3-year goal, which is to pilot our manufacturing center here, but then scale to 4 other communities, marginalized communities in the United States, so 5 total. We are already speaking with communities in Michigan, or a community in Michigan, Queens, New York, DC, and LA. So ready, excited, ready to start creating jobs, ready to solve the affordable housing crisis globally, and ready to work with you to do that. Thank you.
Amazing. Congratulations, Winona. What an exciting
Thanks.
business. Okay, so we have some questions for you from the chat. Let me go with the first one here. So does Makers have a plan to export?
Yes. We do have a plan to export, a high level plan. And so what that means is with the funding gap help and the existing funding from SheEO, not only will we be able to acquire and lease a manufacturing space, but that will also allow us to pay for certification that we need to standardize our pods and our floor plans so that we can ship them globally. I mean, the cool thing about it is that our spaces are shipping containers, right? So they're built to be able to ship. So we literally could build clinics and homes and ship that overseas. So yes.
Great, fantastic. There's another question. How are the shipping containers acquired and how abundant is the supply?
Great question. So we have a global shipping container supplier here in Atlanta that actually also is located in the 4 other communities that we're looking to expand within the next 3 to 5 years. They are global specifically so that we make sure we know what has been in the containers when we get them, these containers, and upfit them. About 2 years ago, there was an abundant supply of 760,000 containers on our ports. And because of COVID, you can imagine that has increased significantly because our export and import markets have shifted a little bit. And so we have an overabundance of containers. In fact, our supplier here in Atlanta usually has about 25,000 containers on average a day. That's just sitting there. So this is an opportunity to not necessarily build new, but to creatively reuse materials we already have here.
Okay, great. And you have a suggestion from Vicky to connect with Brandy DeCarly, one of our ventures, Farm from a Box, who can support with the manufacturing process, do a consult with you. So thank you. So anyone who has a desire to connect, we hope you all do, with Winona. Nat has dropped all of her details, the website, LinkedIn, and Instagram into the chat. If you scroll up a little bit, you'll be able to see it. And here it is again. Thank you, Nat. And also, please take a look at the Ask Give platform and see how you can help out Winona of Makers Studio. And here is our Zoom poll. Can you support with an ask, or do you have other connections, ideas, or suggestions? Thank you so much. Thank you, Winona. Congratulations again. And now I'd like to introduce Sonia Ebron of Courtroom 5. Sonia.
Hello, SheEO Activators. Thank you all so much. Deborah and I are just over the moon to be a part of this network. Thank you for electing us to be a SheEO venture this year. We have an access to justice crisis in the United States. There are millions of Americans at risk daily of losing their homes, access to their children, having their wages garnished for years on end, simply because they don't have a lawyer. And the reason for that is because the business model in consumer law is broken. The typical lawyer charges $350 an hour. The average American makes a tenth of that. And so our goal at Courtroom 5 is to deliver access to justice to everyone, regardless of income. This is a middle-class problem, for sure. But we want to solve this by helping people be their own lawyer and by helping lawyers help them do it. Now, toward that end, we've built an automated legal toolbox for people in civil court without a lawyer. It includes all the tools and training one would need to navigate our complex civil justice system. There's claims analysis tools to connect the legal elements of a case to the facts and the evidence. There's searchable case law available so that people can support their legal positions. There's a suite of document templates for everything you'd need to file in a civil case. And there's on-demand video training for everything from how to, where to sit in the courtroom, to how to talk to a judge, to how to collect your evidence and prepare for trial. Now, we've served nearly 3,000 people to date. And what we found is that where most people in court without a lawyer simply lose their cases, to date, more than 7 out of 10 of those resolving their claims at Courtroom 5 have either won or settled their cases. And so we're doing something right. Yet there's still a gap. There are times when our customers need access to a lawyer. And so our goal is to bring lawyers onto our platform to provide a la carte services, those specific tasks like oral argument, legal research, some very difficult pieces of the puzzle that our customers can afford to pay, where they can't afford to have a lawyer fully represent them. So our goal then for the next year is to 10x the number of people we can serve. And then to do that next year and the year after that. That will take us about to 500,000 people served on our platform at any one time. That's still a drop in the bucket. There are literally 7 million people at any one time handling the most complex cases in our civil courts on their own, and they need help. And so we are so grateful, again, over the moon, to be a part of this network, because we know that many lawyers are radically generous women. And so we have found a home here. Our ask is, if you are in an AmLaw 350 firm or know someone in one of the top 350 American law firms, get in touch with us. We'd like to partner. We can make valuable pro bono opportunities for you and find some other ways to make your firms look really good by working with us. We also need your help and advice developing a program for small and solo law firms to engage with us to sell their services, unbundle a la carte services to our customers when they need them. So again, we have lots of needs. If you are interested in investing, we certainly want to talk with you about that as well. But we've got a huge task in the next few years, but we're committed to solving the access to justice crisis. We want to deliver access to justice for the rest of us, and we'd really love your help to do that. So thank you again so much for making us a SheEO venture this year.
Thank you so much, Sonia. So we will now have a Zoom poll. If you have a way to respond to Sonia's ask to support Courtroom 5, please click. And if you have other connections, ideas, or suggestions, please click there as well. And so now we're going to turn to some questions. Sonia, you have a bunch of questions. What was the kind of firms that you mentioned? Was it AmLaw? And if it was, what does that mean?
American Law 350. So the legal industry, law firms are rated by the highest revenue and some other metrics. And so these would be the 350 largest law firms in the country.
Okay. Another question. Have you tapped into the various networks of lawyers? And Madison Lemansky says that she knows that there is one where she is in Utah and some women lawyers.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We're looking to do that. We're looking to do that. And so we certainly, the folks here at SheEO can help us do that. But we do have some conversations about partnerships in the works as well.
Great. An activator in Canada is asking, have you thought about partnering to provide the service outside the US?
Yes, yes, we have. In fact, we get regular inquiries to do that. And we plan to. We're here in the US. Each nation's law is slightly different, although there are some commonalities in the British Empire. And so we certainly intend to move internationally as well.
Okay, and I think this is our last question. Does your product support family law cases?
We have a number of customers who've resolved their family law cases, whether it's divorce, child custody, and so forth on our platform. Yes.
Okay. Wait, one more question. Is the legal focus only litigation?
Unfortunately, yes. There are some many other platforms solving other parts of the legal puzzle, but we focus on litigation because it's where most people really get beat up and can't afford any help on their side.
Got it. Okay. And just a reminder, Sonia is located in Durham, North Carolina, which I had the pleasure of recognizing when I had to dial the 919 area code to give her a call. Anyway, congratulations to you, Sonia. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now I would like to introduce Ariel Palmer of 100K Incubator. Ariel?
Hello. First off, thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. And yeah, so I'm just going to jump right in. And thank you so much for selecting us as one of your ventures. So 100K Incubator is the first business funding mobile app for women. We help women who are pre-revenue or earning under $100,000 annually in their businesses get access to capital and scale to a minimum of $100,000 in annual sales. So there are a lot of alternative funding institutions and platforms that are popping up, right? However, the unfortunate thing is that the vast majority of them focus on entrepreneurs that are earning over $100,000 per year in their businesses. This is problematic because women who look like me, specifically Black women, are only earning about $28,000 per year on average in their businesses. So all of this innovation in the funding space, challenging the way that banks approve entrepreneurs for capital, isn't reaching the majority of Black women or even women of color as a whole, who are also only earning $64,000 per year on average in their businesses. So we said, we're going to design a mobile application that not only simplifies the funding process, but also allows all women, even those who are pre-revenue and earning under $100,000 in their businesses at the earliest stage, to access capital. And you, as SheEO Activators, are going to help make that possible. And so we have been in the process of relaunching our mobile app for the past 2 years. And we have actually been using more so third-party app software. And I knew that it was time last year for us to control our technology and to have our own software. So the capital that we are receiving from SheEO will go towards rebuilding the mobile application with custom financial technology so that we can get more women approved for funding. This is a process that we already started last year and that I was self-funding. So thank you so much for taking some of that pressure off of my shoulders. This is the true definition of community, and I can't tell you how appreciative me and my team are that you are supporting us and helping us further our mission. And so the next step is to set up an internal fund, right? Because while we hope banks and other financial institutions will come to their senses and fund women entrepreneurs at the earliest stages of their businesses through our software, I'm not willing to wait on that. So here's what I want to ask of you. I am working on putting together an advisory board to conceptualize and finalize our fund model. We are looking for radical thinkers who have worked in the venture capital space and or angel investors who have invested a minimum of $100,000 in businesses. We need women who are seasoned, but also who hate the way investing is traditionally done. And so I definitely want to thank Marsha Dawood for reaching out just in advance when we were announced as semi-finalists. and offering her support. And so I will definitely be reaching out to you, Marcia, and I see that you're on the chat. But we're also, of course, looking for more, women to give us that support and that mentorship in that fund model area. My second ask is more so a legacy ask. So before I leave this earth, I am committed to establishing the first $1 billion fund for Black women entrepreneurs. I'm also happy to be the second or the third or the fourth. I hope that more people will do this. And so if you are committed to that mission of seeing more Black women entrepreneurs get access to capital, helping close that revenue kind of generation gap that we see even amongst women, then I definitely would love to connect with you. And so feel free to email me, send me a message on LinkedIn. We're building a wait list. And when we start our capital raise in Q3 of this year, I would love to reach out and share how we're deciding to structure our fund and distribute the capital. In addition to that, as we are kind of going through this process of rebuilding, the mobile app and getting really in depth about how we execute on our fintech, we are looking for a fintech mentor who specifically has experience with mobile apps in the banking and lending space. And so if you know anyone, or if you are that person, I would love to connect with you and share more about what we're doing. And lastly, while we were in quarantine last year, my team and I designed a sneaker collection, and our plan is to use the profits from the sneakers to provide cash grants to women entrepreneurs. And so we have a small manufacturer in Italy, but we are really looking for introductions to Nike, Adidas, K-Swiss, New Balance, or any other kind of major sneaker manufacturer and distribution company, so we can really blow this project out of the water. And so we want them to take over, kind of the manufacturing distribution side so that we can focus heavily on the campaigning side to sell the sneakers and to raise those cash grants for women entrepreneurs, because I believe that women should have access to multiple types of capital, not just venture, not just loans, but also grants. And so thank you again for your support and for your generosity and for your sisterhood. We can't wait to keep you updated on all the progress that we make over the next year.
Thank you so much, Ariel. We're so happy to have you here in this cohort. You're getting a lot of love in the chat. Now to our Zoom poll. Is anyone able to support Ariel and 100K Incubator with their ask? Or do you have any other connections, ideas, or suggestions for Ariel and 100K Incubator? If you could respond to that. And now to some questions. Ariel, first question, are you more of a wayfinder to resources or a broker who is paid to find capital?
That's actually an excellent question. I'm so glad that you asked that. Our goal is to become a broker. So we would love to be able to do that. However, anyone who's actually familiar in this space of brokering, capital knows that you have to have certain series licenses under FINRA. And so I've been going through the process, as well as kind of bringing in some team members who have those licenses. And so our ultimate goal is actually to become a broker dealer, to be able to do that, legally, and to tap into multiple funding institutions so that we can pull capital, into the fund. So that's a long-term goal of ours. And right now we're more so operating as like a wayfinder.
Okay, great. That question, credit to that goes to Melanie Love. Next question from Laura Traxler. Does this access VC, angels, and philanthropists?
I'm sorry, can you explain?
I think it is, does your app, does 100K Incubator access VCs, angels, and philanthropists?
So ideally, when we rebuild the mobile application, we would love for VCs, angels, and philanthropists to be able to offer, the capital that they want to give on the platform. We do see that being more so organized within a fund. And so we're not necessarily looking for a crowdfunding model of, them having to look at specific businesses and offer, that capital. We prefer to have that organized, and so that the mobile app can kind of read the data of where each woman is at, in her business, and kind of based on an algorithm, be able to make a recommendation of, hey, you should receive this grant, or you should receive this venture investment, et cetera. So that's the technology that we're working to build out and to keep things kind of organized and streamlined.
Great. This is so great. I'm loving hearing about all this. Okay, a couple more questions. One is, what are the range of lending rates, and what is the range of credit scores that you're willing to work with?
I hate credit scores. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I think that it's not fair, when it comes to, entrepreneurs, frankly, who often have to rely on their personal credit to be able to pull and get that initial kind of access to capital. And so I've been really encouraged and excited to see other kind of alternative funding institutions look at, different metrics to be able to measure whether, women can, get access to the capital. So that's also part of why I'm asking to put together that advisory board, because I want to pull best practices from all of these kind of, different institutions that we've been researching and observing, and figure out kind of what the best actual model is. So while we might eventually collect, credit, reporting, data, just to be able to prove a point that women who have low credit scores also deserve access to capital to start their businesses, it's not something that I want to make a funding decision, based off of.
Okay, great. Ariel, you're going to have to save the chat. There's a bunch of ideas coming here for you. But in the interest of time, I'm going to move on. Sorry, Gail's asking one more question. What was your reaction to the retreat weekend?
I loved the retreat weekend. Special thank you to MJ for facilitating and holding space. I mean, just going through the entire process was just really refreshing, to be honest. And to my other 4 sisters who are part of this, cohort, it was really great, to connect and just to go through, the process of learning about their businesses and kind of where we all need support. So yeah, this is the beginning of something really special, and I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting all of you, in person, both all of you in the chat and also everyone who was I met virtually in the cohorts.
Okay, Lucinda's question: are 100K incubator services available for nonprofit earned revenue ventures as well?
So I have not thought in depth enough about nonprofit ventures. I have had quite a few women entrepreneurs in the nonprofit space reach out to us, but I can't say that that's been our focus. We've been more focused on, for-profit businesses, or those nonprofits that have more hybrid models of for-profit versus nonprofit. But definitely something I'm keeping in mind. We have had women reach out and ask about it. So we'll definitely keep that in the conversation.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ariel. Congratulations to you. And so now that we've heard from the 5 US ventures, we are now going to take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate the 13 semi-finalists who are also a part of the SheEO family. So if you are a semi-finalist, we ask you to please wave. We can see these. So semi-finalists are Cyber Pop-Up, Access Tracks, Black Woman CEO, 17 Ways, EV Match Inc., Energy Systems Inc., Film Connex, I hope I'm saying that right, GoBox, Healthy Root Styles, Spellbound, Lilu Inc., Needs List, and Sweet Livity RR. So thank you so much to these semifinalists. If you are waving, we're waving back to you. Congratulations. Thank you for joining the SheEO family. And I welcome everyone here who's on this call to engage, to follow the semis as well as the ventures on social. All the details are going to be in the chat, and you can also find them on the semifinalist community, on the community platform, and also on the Ask Give platform, where many of the semifinalists have also requested some asks. And they are welcome to join the activator calls. So going forward, you'll be hearing from some of them. With that, I'm now going to turn it over to Vicki again, Vicki Saunders, our founder.
Hi, everyone. I'm sure you can all. What a cohort. Amazing. Thank you very much to the activators who voted for these incredible game-changing entrepreneurs. I mean, we have women on this call who are working on the housing crisis, representation in STEM, disrupting and fixing the broken legal system, energy access for everyone, and supporting businesses before 100K, which is like a huge, huge marketplace. I mean, everybody is doing systems level change and deeply rooted in their leadership that the existing models don't work. So a new world is on its way, one that's much more equitable. And thank you everyone in the US as an activator who voted for these ventures. I'm just absolutely thrilled, but with the results, as we all are, the chat is like tears in the whole thing. I also want to say, we had a really interesting occurrence at the retreat this weekend, where each of these businesses is really at a point where they're about to lift off. In fact, we have a lot of woo-woo going on at SheEO on our team all the time, lots of like energy stuff that we're playing with. And this morning on our check-in, someone on our team said, I had a dream last night I hope they don't mind that I'm saying this. I'm not going to say who it was. I had a dream last night that I was talking to NASA about partnerships because SheEO is going out to another planet. And I'm like, yeah, that feels like it. And I feel like a lot of these ventures are really ready to lift off as well, even more than they already are. And so we need a match. $500,000 was on the table. It's been divided up amongst these ventures, but they actually need more capital. And they came in with a collective ask of $1 million. So if there are people on this call who are excited about these ventures, who want to talk and would be interested in getting more involved in them, corporate match, philanthropic match, activators who are high net worth who would like to support, it's going to make a real difference in the trajectory of these businesses. And we're happy to share more what that actually looks like. And so if you are interested in something like that, please reach out to us, or actually, there you go, in the poll. If you'd like to help, please just click on the yes or the no. And we'll be in touch. We're committed to making this match happen. It's going to happen today, tomorrow, this week, in the next couple of weeks. But 42% of new women-owned businesses in the US are owned by Black women. They grow at a faster pace, at least double the pace of women who are in the same categories as them. They've been dramatically underfunded for way too long, and it's time to change that. And so if you can be part of that, even more than you already have, please reach out, and thank you very much. Also, for all the guests that are on the call, we are changing lives. We are changing systems every single day. This is what your capital, when you become an activator, goes towards. Join us as an activator if you haven't already. It's really simple. It's $92 a month, and it creates this kind of outcome. It's phenomenal. So thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks to everyone who's been here. Thanks for making this dream come true. I've wanted to create a new world forever, and we're on our way. So thank you. Back to you, Melanie.
Thank you so much, Vicki. I'm folding my hands because I don't know how else to contain my emotion here. Thank you so much. So in the spirit of being ready to lift off, I want to speak to the activators for a moment. This is your reminder to find the ventures on social media, on the community platform, and to answer their asks on the Ask Give platform, and also to share the announcement post of them becoming our now 2021 US Ventures on the list on social media. Activators, we also have great news for you that starting March 19th, these ventures will be joining our weekly activator calls for venture deep dives, during which you'll learn more about what they do and how you can support them. The dates are going to be dropped into the chat, so there you will see that. And now, as I turn to everybody, actually, sorry, pause before we turn to everybody. We have a question that has been echoed a couple of times from Tracy Gray. This is a question to all of the ventures. Tracy, if you could unmute.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to ask, SheEO, if all of you don't know, SheEO has done a really great job of curating, intentionally reaching out to women of color. It's been a journey, and especially in the US. And now, democratically, we have all Black women ventures, which makes me want to tear up a little bit. Not like Vicki, because she just cries all the time, but I'm tearing up a little bit. I would love to hear how it feels for the ventures of being in cohort with all Black women. We have this moment of George Floyd and a movement started, but this is how we take it to mainstream. So I would love just if there's time for all of you to quickly say how you felt.
I'm happy to go first. We talked about that this weekend. We all recognized it, acknowledged it, and we're very proud of it to be in sisterhood with my sisters, right? And so I think we all got on expecting to be one of, because in our worlds, we're always one of, and so if there's 5, we're usually the one. And so to be able to collaborate and build with this group of amazing Black women is so inspiring. And I'm just in awe that this community recognized 5 Black women that are doing, I'm a cursor, badass shit, doing this amazing work. And I'm just so encouraged and excited and thrilled.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on Terry, the same thing. I mean, when I showed up on Friday for our first session, I thought I missed a memo because I'm not used to seeing sisters look like me showing up in a room and we're all like semi-finalists. I mean, finalists. I've never, ever had that ever happen. And so for me, it was so heartwarming, but it was so encouraging as well of saying like, this is like, we're moving forward. And George Floyd, he was almost a sacrifice for a lot of us. And because now people are looking at us when they didn't look at us before. And SheEO has always did a great job with just uplifting women. And now just to have a all Black female cohort is just amazing. And so I'm delighted. Thank you.
So Tracy, a couple of things. This is Winona from Maker Studio. So I have this orange cup here handy. This is the cup that I bought. My mom actually bought me, and she has a cup too. The reason that this is important is we bought this cup last November 13th when my grandmother passed away from COVID. And she was a huge civil rights activist here in Atlanta in her own right. And one of the things she used to tell me is when they would practice getting ready to march with MLK and Abernathy and Young, that one of the things they had to remember is that you're marching for the 2 or 3 people unseen. And so she's not here in a way, but I guess she is. But to think of that and understand what our roles are as Black women, as entrepreneurs, and to have a safe space to explain and explore and engage and be okay with the fact that we are the change that we see, and to make the change that for those that are not yet here, that are not yet present, is what this is all about. So very much encouraged. You are absolutely right. It means a lot, and it's very deep for me and for those that are yet unseen. So thanks for that question.
I had a brief moment of surprise on Friday when I saw my sisters here, and and then I got over it. I learned what we were all doing, and I was like, well, of course. And I was reminded that we've had to make a way out of no way for a long, long time. And now we're finally being seen. And so very grateful to be elected, but also frankly, not surprised, just really happy for all of us.
And what I'll add as well is I think that, this should be the norm. Black women are the fastest, growing, demographic of, entrepreneurs. And so while, yes, I'm used to being one of, 5 in the room, and that's what I was expecting when, we logged on. And then I thought, did they do this intentionally? Did I miss something on the application? But no, it was democratically elected by a very diverse, audience. And so it's exciting, but it should not be, something that's unique. This should be something that we're seeing more often, just given, I think, the power that Black women entrepreneurs hold. And so I'm excited to see, SheEO kind of continue, in that space, and also looking forward to how we all can contribute to making sure that Black women entrepreneurs are elevated and receiving the capital that they deserve.
Amazing. Congratulations to all of you. And to borrow from what Sonia said, let's get over it. Let's get everyone over this, and let's help lift off BIPOC business owners and everyone else who is really trying to do something great on the world's to-do list. So quick notes to everyone. Please join us March 8th and 9th for the SheEO Summit 2021. We're gathering hundreds of SheEO activators, ventures, radically generous women, and non-binary people from our global community for 2 days of learning, connection, and inspiration. We ask that you join the newsletter and you follow SheEO on social media. There's upcoming virtual events, content to help you grow your business, a lot of really great idea generating content in there. Please save the chat at the bottom right. If you can click on the 3 dots and hit save chat, you'll be able to review this entire stream of amazing energy that's been happening in the chat. And of course, we ask that you consider becoming activators if you are not already an activator. And we close with a feedback form, which is also in the chat. Thank you, ladies. And I just want to thank everyone so much for joining us. This has been a really exciting day for me, for you, for our ventures. And if we can hold this energy and then also amplify it on social using #radicallygenerous, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.